Hi guys, Jean here. If you're new to my channel, please go and subscribe and like my channel. You subscribing to my channel is going to help me a lot in this retirement street that I'm walking on here. How is everybody doing this evening? Tonight, I really want to talk about, coming to Canada when I arrive in Canada and the things that I did and how many times I guess in my lifetime that I have begin again and um and I talk a lot about beginning again on this channel, which is a nicer way of saying it's not too late. You can always start again. There is nothing that is really stopping you from beginning again. Because yeah, it's really not too late. I have spoken on it before, but I wanted to go into a little bit more details. I've never been one of those people that stayed in a job a long time. Like my average time of staying in a job usually used to be about 2 years. After 2 years, I would move on. And then after 2 years, I would move on again. And I'm realizing now as I'm older, a lot of the reason why I have, before I've never really stayed in a job for a very long time. Now, just, at present, the job that I am doing, I've been in this job now. This year is going to make it 12 years that I'm in this job. And there is a good reason that it's 12 years and I'm in the same job. And I have gone through years where all I want to do is quit. There have been years where I didn't like the job, I didn't like the people. And there have been years where I think I'm doing the best job in the world, believe it or not. And I work in Parks Canada. So I work in in Canada leading national park. And I've started working there since 2014. And one of the things I really, really love about this job is that I work in the summertime. So I work at the beginning of May until about the middle of October. So usually in the wintertime, I do not work. So I am considered to be what they call a seasonal worker. So I have a seasonal permanent job. So every season, every summer season, I go to this job and I love this job right now. And so one, I like the fact that it is, a job that starts in May and end in October. I also like that the job is outside because we look after the entire national park. So I work with Parks Canada and there's lots of different field in Parks Canada and I work on the campground. Believe it or not, it is really one of the best, the campground. It's not just for 18-year-old. The campground usually get people from all walks of life. You get people that cannot afford to stay in any other place but the campground. You also get people that is doing van life. You get lots and lots and lots of European people that come and rent some of the Canadian Dream renter camper van. We get a lot of those. We get a lot of people from Europe as well that comes with their own, they have shipped their RV or their camper van, via ship and travel around the world. So we get people that is traveling around the world. We get people that comes with their BMW. We get people that come with their Audi. We get lots of people from Canada itself. We get people that comes with what is the new vehicle name? Anyway, we get rich people, middle class people, poor people, nomads. You know, we get all walks of life on the campground. So that is another thing that I really love about working on the campground. The other thing that I really love is not just being outside, but I get to walk because we have a few campgrounds inside of Banff National Park. So we have the Tunnel Mountain Campground, and the Tunnel Mountain has Village One, Village Two, and Trailer Court. So there's three huge area and different campground within the same campground on the Tunnel Mountain. And that's the campground that is just above Banff town. So it's about, in 5 minutes you downtown Banff. And then we have Tujac and Tujac Lake. We have Tujac Lakeside and we have Tujac Main. And I normally walks down at Tujac area. So I walk both Main and Lakeside. So I get to walk around a lake and I get to walk inside of these beautiful, beautiful forests and beautiful trees. And we also have Castle Mountain Campground and Johnson Canyon Campground. And usually throughout the summer season, we all get to walk on all the different campgrounds. So on any given day, at any given time, you might see me today at Tunnel Mountain, and then tomorrow you might come to Johnson Canyon, and I'm there, or you may go to Jack Lakeside, and I'm there. But apart from that, we also take care of the entire parks, right? So from the time you enter the gate, our unit take care of the time you enter the gate right down to the 93 South. So it's a really vast area. We take care of all the vault toilets along the way. We do all the cleanup around inside of all the day use area. We talk to people, we educate people on the park and what to expect and what they can and cannot do inside of the national park. So the job is we also check people in and check them out, and the campground it runs almost exactly like a hotel. The only difference is we do not have to go into any room and clean up any one room. We have to keep the campground itself clean, so we do that as well. And that's the beauty of working there. No one person do one job. We do all the work. So sometimes we out driving around doing day use area, and sometimes we inside of the campground checking people in and checking them out, or we inside of the campground and we cleaning, we clean like the fire pits and the washrooms. We rake the area, make sure the place is clean. Now, I consider myself, really and truly, I consider myself a steward for the land. That's the part that I really love. I love cleaning up the land. When I clean up the land here in this national park, it makes me feel like not only that I belong, but it makes me feel like I'm doing my part for Mother Earth, and I'm doing my part for the generation that is coming before me, because I am keeping things clean. I am making sure people are educated and know how to be in the park and what to do and how to stay away from the animals, how they can keep themselves safe and all the things, not to leave their food out. And so we're always out there educating people and making sure everyone is safe, especially the animals. Because let me tell you, we have some people that come and, yeah, you have to be a witness to these things, right? Now, it seems like I jump forward to the present moment and I make this statement that I have been in this job now for 12 years, but normally I usually do not stay in a job more than 2 years. And the reason I stayed in this job so long is because it's a summer thing, it's a summer gig, and it suit my personality and and it suit me, my lifestyle and the way I love to live. Now, as you can tell, I take off my braids in this one. Next one you see me in, I think I'll have my braids back in. So I had to get creative tonight and tie my head up and get very creative. I just put it up in one so you don't really see how much my hair has grown so much. But I had to tie it down, so I don't look like a mad woman. So I really had to tie it down. Excuse me. And the thing is, no matter, I keep saying that I'm not going to do this late night video anymore, but guys, I am doing these videos. Today is day 30, and I've been doing a video every single day now for the past 30 days. And I had started before the 30 days, but I decided to start counting just from January 1st. And I have another let me see, I have what, 70 more days? Yeah, I have 70 more days to do every day. So I come on here when I can. So let's get back to this whole idea that when I just came into Canada, I've been here now since 19, I think the middle of the 80s. I think I came in around 1986 or something like that. Yeah, I'm aging myself because now I'm in my 60s. I'm in my early 60s, and I've been here since the 1980s. So I think I've lived in this country longer than I have lived in Grenada, where I'm from, where I was born, in Grenada. And when I came in, of course, I was doing not really, I was babysitting. That's one of the jobs that I can get. I was babysitting. I do a few other trivial jobs here and there, but mostly I was babysitting. And finally, I decided that, and I was kind of illegal when I just arrived for a few years. I am no longer, I'm a citizen right now. So I just want you guys, I want to be clear. I'm a citizen of this country. I got my citizenship since 2000. I think I got it in 2001. Anyway, very early in the 2000, I got my more than 20, what we in 2026, about 26, yeah, about 26 years now. I've been a citizen. But when I just arrived, one of the things I did, when I didn't have work, and I remember this one time, I didn't have any job. Um, I couldn't go on welfare because, I was not really in the system to go on welfare. So, and I've technically never really been on welfare. So I decided to make some cards, some business cards. And back then, you can go door to door and put your business card with a flyers in the mailbox of the people. So I used to go down in the in the wealthy area um, in Toronto, and I would walk from house to house, house to house, and I would put out my flyers. I will put out my card. Sometimes I meet the people that is living in the house and we would talk. And, I'm just looking for work. I'm looking for cleaning work and all of that. And for a period of time, um, I was my own, and I was an an entrepreneur. These words tie up my tongue. And before I continue, I'll tell you this. We all have an accent. And for many years, I used to be, people would hear me, and the first thing they would say to me all the time, you have an accent, but so do you. We all have an accent. And I haven't really lost mine unless I go to the Caribbean, I go to Grenada. And when I'm there, they tell me that I speak like a Canadian, which is interesting because I don't. I don't really speak, I just have an accent. And because of that, there are times when, the words that I'm trying to speak, I cannot roll it in around my tongue because obviously, I have a bit of an accent. And that had led me to a lot of insecurities because a lot of time I write the way I speak. So that means I spell the way I speak. And I've always been embarrassed about that. I spent many, many, many years in the space of believing that I couldn't spell because I was spelling things the way that I speak, and I was told that I need to spell like a Canadian. And well, I'm not a, well, I'm an adopted Canadian that kept my accent. So, anyways, so I used to get these cleaning job, and even back then, I don't know, I just remember this. I would clean the senior house for a discount. I would come and clean. If you're a senior and I come to clean your house or your apartment, I'll give you a discount. So I used to give all the seniors a discount when I go to clean their place. The other people, I would give them full rate. But I remember even back then, I was working for like $20 an hour already, and I think I was charging like $25 an hour to clean, and I would give the elderly people a discount for around $20, or I'll give them a flat rate. I'll come and clean their apartment for like $40 or $60, and call it a day. So even back then, I was actually giving back. I forgot that I used to do that. But one of the things that came from me putting my business card, it was back then, I think my business card was, I had like Rose Cleaning Service. And I used the word Rose Cleaning Service because my mother name is Rose. And, Rose is, people see it as this beautiful thing. So I call myself Rose Cleaning Service. I used to have a nice little card with a red rose on it with, and then my name in the bottom. Alrighty then. Sorry, someone was on the phone calling me, so this has paused, but I'm continuing. I'm going to call them back. My husband is on the phone calling me. I'm going to call him back. The thing is, for me to do this, I have to be real. I cannot do it if I'm not being real and I'm not being myself and I'm doing and I'm speaking the way I speak and all these things that has held me back. And this is why I'm here, so that you don't hold yourself back. You show up and you do what you have to do. So, where was I? I was taking my, yes, I had this beautiful card, and I was going from door to door to door and putting it in the people mailbox. And finally, one day, this woman called me. And it was really interesting because she wasn't living in the area where I was living. I was living all the way in the east, and she was somewhere and this is Ontario. She was somewhere all the way out on yeah, she was like two bus and a train to get to where she lived. But she called me and she invited me to come to an interview. And this woman, their business, her and her husband, they had a collection agency. And the collection agency was in this huge warehouse, like a huge warehouse that has many desks and many people working there. So when you hear collection, people are calling you from a collection agency, there's like 20 desks in a big warehouse, and everybody is just calling you and say bring the money or whatever. Anyways, she ended up inviting me to come in for an interview. And when I sat down to talk to her, I was very honest. And I think that's the thing about me. I have always been kind of honest. And I said in a video before, when I cannot speak my truth, I cannot speak. Like literally, I'm cut off. Like I get cut off. I cannot speak if I'm not speaking my truth. And so she interviewed me, and I said to her, wow, like I don't understand how you got my card, like my number, because I live all the way down in the east, and here you are, all out of, so far away. And she said that one of the men that work with her, he lived down where I put the card. And he took the card and he brought it to her. And the reason why she actually called me in for an interview, she was impressed. She was so impressed that I walked around and gave my card and my flyers that she wanted to meet me and actually hire me. And so then I had to tell her, well, I don't have my papers in the country. It's going through, or I have applied or something. I don't think, did I applied? I think I may or may not have applied at the time yet. And I don't have my papers. And she said that no problem. She wanted to hire me because she was so impressed of my work ethic, although I wasn't working yet. I was just putting things out there. And she not only hired me to clean her big warehouse or office building, she also had just adopted a baby. And she wanted me to also, look after the baby. So here I am. I didn't have a job. And I put out all these flyers and I do this every day. I really believe in this concept of if you don't have if you don't have work, you don't have a job. Your job is to look for a job. So looking for a job become your job. I hope you get this, right? Every day. Looking for a job is your job. So every day you go out for when you do have a job, you work in 8 hours a shift. So when you're looking for a job, even if you go out for 2 hours or 3 hours for the day, or you put out 5 resume for the day or two, or you go and knock on people's door, I can honestly guarantee you one of the easiest way to get a job, yes, hard, you have to go out and find it, is to go knocking on people's door. And when I say knocking on people's door, I don't mean literally having to knock on someone's door. You can go to hotels, you can go to restaurant, you can go to um, retail store, you can go inside of the bay, you can go, you go look for the supervisor. You ask for the supervisor, you bring your resume. Your chances, you have a better chance of getting that job because you're meeting the people who is going to interview you. So I went from not having a job to having actually two jobs. So I worked in the day at her house looking after the kid every day. They were really lovely people. Sometimes they would drop me home even. And then at night, I would go and clean the office building, where they do all the collections. So at night, I would go and clean the office buildings. And it was a lot of work. So I actually was able to hire a friend of mine. So I wasn't cleaning the office on my own. I hire a friend of mine to come and clean the office with me at night. And because I hire a friend of mine, we got the job done in half the time, right? So the office building is a very huge building, and of course there was, I think there was washrooms there as well. Of course there was washroom, there is a private office, and then there is the floor, where everybody work, and all the garbage that we have to pick up. So we have to pick up the garbage, vacuum, do the toilet, and also the private office. But because I had someone that I hire, I was able to, hire a friend. Yeah, the things you do when, you have to do the things you do. Do not even feel ashamed about these things because immigrants really do work hard in these streets out here in these countries, especially when you're a new immigrant. You just want to work and make sure you have money to put in your pocket and all these things. So so I was working in the day, had a night job, and I hired someone to help me. So I was making decent money, really decent money. And I've worked with those people. I end up working with that couple for quite a few years. I think I stayed with them for more than 2 years. And after 2 years, 2 or 3 years, how long did I stay with them? I stayed with them for a few years because I didn't have to go and look for another job. You know, I had a whole office building and they paid me well. And I spent the day, going and walk this kid. And I only had to look after the kid. I didn't even have to take care of their house. But because I'm the person that I am, I take care of their house, clean the kitchen. But it was, nothing really. I just had to look after the baby. That beautiful little baby boy. I was so happy for them. So one day, after working with them for a couple of years, it could have been 3 years, I think, I said to them, I have decided to go back to school. And the husband said, what do you mean go back to school? If he had told me that, like in today's, like in the present time that I'm living, I would have said, dude, you a bit racist. That is a racist thing to tell a black woman. So I was so excited. I'm like, oh yeah, I've decided I'm going to go back to school because I want an education. And, I just, I've been in the country a few years now, and I really want to want to go back to school and have an education. And the husband, he said to me, why do you want to go back to school? Why don't you just read the newspaper? We have the newspaper right here. Why don't you just read the newspaper instead of going back to school? And I thought, dude, what kind of a response is that? I'm going back to school. But the thing that I did for them before I have this friend, and every time I leave a job, I would actually get her to come and take the job because she has similar qualities. She's one of those people that walk a lot. That was the second job that I've had that I introduced her to them so they didn't have to go and look for anybody else. And she took over both jobs because as I mentioned earlier, where the job, where I had to go to work, I had to take about 2 buses, I think, and a train as well. It was a great distance. So going to school, which was very close to downtown Toronto, and working all day, it would not have worked because I decided to go back to school full time. And even before I decided to go back to school full time, I used to go to school at night. I was doing part time school, but it wasn't working for me, um, especially because I had to start. Um, some of the grades I had to start in like grade 6. I start in really like kindergarten grade. Well, maybe not. Okay, I'm ashamed. Okay. As an adult, yeah, I think I was doing grade 9 English, but my mathematic was very low. All my other subject was very high, and obviously I didn't get through grade 11 mathematics. So, when I started to go to university in 2023, the subject, what I wanted to do, which was to do psychology, I couldn't because I needed to get my grade 11 math. And guess what? Yeah, I still couldn't because me and Matt is no friend. So anyway, so I couldn't work full time with them and go to school full time. And so I just had to leave the job and go to school full time, this is another choice that I made, but it was also a bit of a huge sacrifice because I was working and technically I wasn't on any assistant, and I was going to school, high school, full time, and I wasn't on any assistant. And so most days I would think I would walk about maybe 10 blocks as an adult to go to school because I didn't have money to pay the bus to go to school. But I made this choice and I made this decision that I wanted to go to school, and I'm going to school full time, and I'm going to get my grade 12, I wanted to get my grade 12, my high school diploma. I needed to have my high school diploma. And no matter what, I was going to school. So I walking in the winter time. When you get to school, the one thing about the school, however, they were very charitable. So they would give you tickets. You can get ticket for food. They would give you, you can get food at school. Um, and many times they would give you bus tickets. So you have tickets to come and go. And eventually, while I was going to school, doing this full time school, I actually took a phone job. You know, I used to work on, I think, what you call a 1-800 number phone. I don't even know if I can speak on that job here, but at one point I had to do what I needed to do so that I can make it through school full time and get through that process. And I couldn't take a day job because school was Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. till, 3 p.m. in the evening. And by the time I get home and rest, so I took a call job, um, where I work on the phone for, couple hours a night, not all night, couple hours. It was just, it helped a lot because I got pay that way. But anyways, I'm telling you this story to tell you this. If you don't have a job, or you want to build something for yourself, like you want to become an entrepreneur and you don't know where to start, start where you are, start there. So if you a person that, say for instance, you cut trees, or you know how to do the lawn, or in the wintertime you're very good at shoveling, or you want to do car detailing, if you looking for a job, go out and put your resume in the places where you want a job. Go there and knock on the door. Not necessarily people personal property, but go to the establishment and see if you can find a supervisor or someone in there. Now, if you wanting to be an entrepreneur and you want to do the work on your own, get a business card. If you cannot get a business card, let someone create a flyers for you. Get some flyers. You don't have to pay too much money for a flyer, and go out and put it. There's a lot of notice board around the area, notice board in the community, in the supermarkets, in the post office, in the library area. Go out and do that, and do it almost every day, and talk to people. The people you meet and you're saying hello to, let them know that, hey, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, or hey, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, and let them know what you're doing, right? And do that. So, in this series of Begin Again and telling you that it's never too late, when I actually went back to school, I was already 34 years old, right? I was 34. And technically at the time, I was a new Canadian, but I knew that that was the start. And yeah, I think I'm going to stop here. But never give up on yourself. Don't do that. Do what you need to do, right? And I hope that you have taken a bit of tip. So subscribe and like my channel. And as I mentioned before, it's free for you, but it's going to help me a lot. If you want to donate something to me, subscribe. That is a donation. That would help me so much. And look at my video. Look at the whole video, even if you just look at it in the background. But look at my video, because that would help me as well. Thank you so much. You have a good evening. I just love you guys. I love that you stay here this long, and I'll see you on the next video. Oh, before I leave, do less and be more. So even if you're going out and putting things out there, take your time about it. There is no rush.